Hi, and welcome to the Microsoft Product Licensing Terms update for August 2025. Um, Good to see you again, William. How are things?
Good, thanks, Carl. Yeah, and you?
Great. So no leave this month, so it's just the two of us to run through the changes for August. So I'll kick things off. So I looked first of all at the universal service, or should I say universal license terms for online services. One slightly interesting update on this month. So Microsoft have updated their renewal policy, which I think is a welcome change. So what we now see is a higher degree of flexibility and some clarity around when customers can cancel their auto renewal or untake or opt out of, probably a better way of describing it, auto renewal. So previous to August of this year, there was a 30-day notice period required, which for organizations that weren't on top of their licensing, that obviously created a risk whereby they could inadvertently float into another renewal for software or online services that might not necessarily be required. So having that ability to untake auto renewal without a 30-day notice period is a welcome addition, I would say. There's also some changes around the extended term introduced for expired subscriptions. So, if a subscription isn't renewed, if I remember this correctly, you can continue to access it for 30 days, and then on like a month-to-month basis with like some sort of potential billing at the end. Um, Based on the current monthly rate, plus I think it's a 3% uplift is what Microsoft advised. And then also in the online service terms, the universal license terms for online services this month, we saw a clarification around the data retention window. So after an account is disabled, customers have 90 days to extract their data. So that clock starts ticking after on that first day and runs up until 90 days. A couple of inclusions or caveats to add to this. So government and academic customers remain excluded from auto renewal unless they opt in. So I think that auto renewal flexibility is a welcome change. On CALs and management license equivalency, so when I saw this, I thought, okay, maybe there's something interesting here around client access licenses and management licenses for a variety of different Microsoft Server products, but nothing major to report here. It's just a reformatting of the equivalency table. Um, or the equivalency section, should I say. This is a good resource, I would say, for organizations just trying to get an understanding of what level of functionality are they entitled to use from a variety of Microsoft Server products. So if you're trying to like demystify what CALs give you what functionality and what CALs assign to what products, this is actually a really good reference point for you if you're trying to get your head around what that looks like. Also on Exchange Server and Skype for Business Server. So if you've been following Microsoft's moves to get rid of all things perpetual license over the coming years, this is another step in that direction. So, like what we saw with SharePoint Server recently, Microsoft have introduced Exchange Server and Skype for Business Server subscription editions. You'll note the SE at the end of the product name. So, if you've got software assurance, your licenses will transition automatically, so they'll become subscription editions. If not, and you need to buy a new license for these particular products, there's no option for you to now buy perpetual licenses. So you'll have to purchase a subscription edition and the appropriate number of CALs. If the subscription, as you can guess, if it lapses, you lose the rights to run the SE and you must roll back to the last perpetual version. Um, you will also see a loss in functionality, I believe, from what I've read with Microsoft. So support and updates will be deprecated as well. So obviously the emphasis, like any subscription, will be to keep it running, to keep current. CALs stay the same. So, a variety of different CALs will apply. Standard enterprise Skype Plus tiers will still apply. Um, Although if you're licensed for Exchange Online or Skype Online, you will get matching server rights at the right CAL level. So that's key changes there on Skype for Business and Exchange. One other bit to add to that is that with software assurance, a key software assurance benefit that organizations would have used in the past was external user rights, CAL suite equivalency. They're all retained under the SC model, which is good news. So they were the key changes I looked at this month. So over to you, William.
Thank you. So there's three that updates that I've looked at. So the first one's within Azure. So it's the Bing terms of use Link has been revised specifically for the Azure AI Foundry customers. So with this update, Microsoft is basically adding what they call grounding with Bing terms of use language into the Azure AI Foundry section, and also revising the link to the Bing terms of use. So grounding with Bing search allows your Azure AI agents to incorporate real-time public web data when generating responses. So it's bringing in the Bing terms of use link into the Azure AI Foundry. Second one was Microsoft Defender for Experts. They've updated the prerequisite table and added the Microsoft Customer Agreement table for Microsoft Defender for Experts Hunting XDR and Experts for XDR. So these are actually two distinct but complementary managed services within Defender XDR ecosystem that includes access to Microsoft's security expertise and resources. So those updates bring both services into line with the license prerequisite table. And the third one is on Microsoft 365. Interesting one. So they've added Microsoft 365 unattended licenses as a prerequisite for Windows 365 Enterprise to unblock use cases and essentially achieve parity with Azure Virtual Desktop. So this update is simply the addition of Windows 365 Enterprise to the environments where customers have the right to assign and run Microsoft 365 unattended licenses, and that's namely within hardware dedicated to a customer's use, brackets subject to the outsourcing software management clause, also virtual machine on Azure, and that includes Virtual Desktop, and obviously Windows 365 Enterprise itself. So it's a bit of parity for unattended licenses for Microsoft 365 to run on Windows 365 Enterprise. Those are the three that I had, but I think you wanted to touch on the enterprise agreement changes and notifications that Microsoft's announced recently.
Yeah, so there's a big announcement this month, right, where we saw Microsoft announce a major change to the enterprise agreement program, or the enterprise agreement subscription program. So the key change is going to be that organizations that are currently licensing online services through the EA program are going to see the removal of what would have historically been classified as programmatic discount based on their organization size. So if you were a level B, C, or D customer, which was typically linked to the number of users or devices that you had within your organization, you got an out-of-the-box discount without having to negotiate anything with Microsoft. So in theory, the bigger economies of scale that you were able to bring to the table, the higher the level of programmatic discount that you would have been able to obtain without any negotiation. So as of the 1st of November, that's going to change, right? So Microsoft are removing those programmatic discounts for online services for customers that are going to, say, for example, be faced with a renewal of their enterprise agreement on the 1st of November, or if they're adding new online services that are not currently included within their customer price sheet, which is a document that's associated with the enterprise agreement that documents all of the licenses that are included in your agreement at signing, and a specific price point that is guaranteed for those products over the term of your agreement. So if you're adding in online services to a EA that isn't going to expire before the 1st of November, you're still going to potentially be caught out on this price increase. So this is going to have like a major impact, I would say, for many organizations, particularly larger organizations. They're going to see an automatic jump in the price of their Microsoft online services on renewal. Could be anywhere in the region of up to 12% by default. So quite a material impact. The alternatives that are out there to customers, we're going to start to see customers leverage a hybrid licensing approach, whereby they'll continue to use the enterprise agreement for certain on-premise products, because that's not been impacted here, as well as using the CSP program, or MCAE, which is a direct licensing model with Microsoft, to license those online services. I think what we're not seeing here is a change in the dynamic that customers need to apply when managing their licensing and when optimizing costs associated with online services. I think it's it's important that customers start to take stock, and by not having a compelling event like the enterprise agreement true up is going to potentially create a material amount of risk, whereby customers aren't staying on top of their licensing on a frequent enough basis because you don't have that compelling event. But the flip side of that is that you need to be managing this on a monthly, quarterly basis to ensure that you don't have those license creep scenarios, and that you're reprofiling and you're applying licenses that are best fit for your business in a way that helps you reduce costs. So I think that's that's going to become even more important for customers as they're forced into having to adopt a hybrid approach in the way they license Microsoft technology. I think another interesting point on this as well is around negotiation. So Microsoft in their announcement allude to the fact that they will negotiate on a workload by workload basis. So organizations, because these programmatic discounts are being removed, there's never been a more important time to formulate an effective negotiation strategy with Microsoft and your reseller if you're going to go down or being forced into the CSP route, for example. So big changes ahead. A lot of organizations will really want to get ahead of this now and start to understand and model what's the financial impact going to be for their business, so that they're not faced with we often use the term of a financial fiscal cliff in 2 years' time or whenever their enterprise agreement is renewing. And that's going to be particularly painful for organizations who've not only got a programmatic discount, but have also got a custom discount on top of that as a part of their existing EA.
Yeah, no, definitely. So all changes afoot, and preparation is key.
That's it. So I think we probably have a good fireside chat in the making on this one. Some blogs and some support material on how to prepare for this. But like any Microsoft licensing queries or any other vendor licensing queries you might have, or if you're trying to get your head around how's this going to impact these EA changes, how they're going to impact your organization, feel free to reach out to us here at Version 1. We'd be delighted to help you understand what that looks like and how to navigate those choppy waters ahead.
Yep.
So that about wraps it up for this month's product terms update. Thanks, William, for today's input.
Look forward to Neve coming back next month.
Great stuff. All the best.
Bye.
Thank you.